The massive alien ship appeared over New York without warning on a quiet Sunday morning. Its dark metal hull stretched for miles across the sky, casting an ominous shadow over the city below. The world watched in stunned silence as similar vessels materialized over every major city on Earth. Hours passed before the first transmission came. The aliens called themselves the Dominion, and their message was simple: Earth would be annexed into their empire. Resistance would be met with force. General James Miller stood in the Pentagon's command center, his weathered face illuminated by dozens of screens showing the alien ships worldwide. 30 years of military service hadn't prepared him for this moment. Next to him, Dr. Anna Reed, Earth's leading xenobiologist, studied the preliminary scans of the alien vessels. "Their technology is advanced," she said, adjusting her glasses, "but not insurmountable. The energy reading suggests their shields have limitations." The president's voice crackled over the secure line. "What are our options, General?" Miller straightened his uniform. "Sir, we need to buy time. Let's hear them out while we analyze their capabilities and prepare our response. But I recommend we start moving our critical resources underground immediately." The next few days saw a flurry of diplomatic exchanges. The Dominion's ambassador, a tall, gray-skinned being who called himself the Overseer, made their terms clear: Earth would surrender its resources and accept Dominion rule, or face extinction. What the Overseer didn't understand was humanity's greatest strength, its stubborn refusal to bow to tyranny. As the aliens made their demands, the nations of Earth did something unprecedented. Ancient rivalries were set aside. Border disputes forgotten. For the first time in history, humanity stood truly united. Underground facilities that had been built during the Cold War were rapidly converted into command centers. Scientists worldwide shared their research freely, working around the clock to understand the alien technology. Military leaders coordinated their forces, developing strategies that would utilize Earth's unique advantages. Dr. Reed made a crucial discovery while analyzing the Dominion's transmissions. "Their neural networks," she explained to General Miller, "they're vulnerable to specific electromagnetic frequencies. We might not be able to match their firepower, but we can disrupt their systems." Miller nodded, a plan forming in his mind. "They expect us to either surrender or launch a conventional attack. But humanity has always been good at finding a third option." The president addressed the world, his words translated into every language: "To the people of Earth, we face our greatest challenge. But remember this: we are not alone. We stand together. And together, we will show these invaders why humanity has survived every challenge it has ever faced." The Overseer gave Earth 48 hours to surrender. Instead, humanity sent back a simple message: leave our world in peace, or face the consequences. The aliens' response was predictable: they laughed. Their scans showed Earth's military technology was centuries behind their own. What they failed to understand was that technology wasn't everything. Humanity had something they didn't: centuries of experience fighting against overwhelming odds, and an unmatched ability to adapt. As the deadline approached, the world held its breath. Underground, General Miller and his international team of commanders finalized their plans. Dr. Reed and her scientific colleagues made their final calibrations to the planetary defense network they'd improvised. The Overseer's final message was filled with contempt: "You had your chance. Now you will learn why the Dominion has never known defeat." Miller looked at the determined faces around him in the command center. "No," he said quietly, "they're the ones who are about to learn something." The invasion was about to begin, but humanity was ready. They had warned the Dominion to leave. Now the aliens would learn why you should always take humanity's warning seriously. The Dominion's attack began at dawn. Their ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, their weapon systems charging with an ominous purple glow. The aliens expected a swift victory. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that had turned the entire planet into a weapon. Dr. Reed stood at her console, watching the energy readings spike. "They're using exactly the attack pattern we predicted," she said, her fingers flying over the controls. "Their ship's neural networks are linking up to coordinate the assault." General Miller's voice was steady as he gave the order, "Initiate Operation Thunderstrike." Across the globe, thousands of modified radio towers, cell phone stations, and satellite dishes activated simultaneously. The electromagnetic pulse they generated was precisely tuned to the frequency Dr. Reed had discovered. To human technology, it was harmless. To the Dominion's neural networks, it was devastating. The alien ships faltered. Their perfect formation broke apart as their navigation systems went haywire. The Overseer's voice crackled over the emergency channel, for the first time showing signs of concern. "What is this primitive trickery?" But humanity was just getting started. From hidden bunkers worldwide, electromagnetic railguns, built in secret over the past few days using modified particle accelerator technology, opened fire. The projectiles weren't explosive. Instead, they carried specialized computer viruses designed to infiltrate the aliens' now vulnerable systems. "Their shields are adapting," Dr. Reed warned, watching the data stream across her screen. "We have maybe 10 minutes before they reconfigure their neural networks." Miller nodded. "That's all we need. Launch Phase 2. The world's submarines, hidden beneath the oceans, launched specially modified missiles. Instead of warheads, they carried swarms of microscopic drones, another innovation born from humanity's frantic preparation. As the swarms reached the alien ships, they began infiltrating through the smallest gaps in their now fluctuating shields. The Dominion's response was predictable. They began firing on major military installations. But they found only empty buildings. Humanity had learned long ago not to keep all its eggs in one basket. "Sir," a young lieutenant called out, "the drones are in position." Dr. Reed allowed herself a small smile. The Dominion thinks they're so advanced, but they never considered that smaller could be better. Those drones are carrying engineered bacteria designed to eat through their hull material. The effect was immediate. Across the sky, the massive alien ships began showing signs of deterioration. Small holes appeared in their hulls, growing larger by the minute. The Overseer's voice became frantic. "What kind of devils are you?" "We're human," Miller responded calmly. "We warned you to leave." The Dominion ships began to retreat, but the damage was done. Several smaller vessels, their hulls compromised, crashed into the ocean where waiting submarines captured them for study. The larger ships, their neural networks scrambled and their hulls being eaten away, struggled to maintain altitude. In the command center, humanity's defenders watched as their plans unfolded perfectly. They had turned the aliens' greatest strengths, their complex neural networks and advanced materials, into weaknesses. It was a strategy born from thousands of years of human warfare: use your enemy's power against them. An urgent message from the Overseer's ship came through: "Hold your attack. We request negotiations." Miller looked at Dr. Reed, then at the other commanders on screen from Russia, China, India, and dozens of other nations. They all nodded. Humanity had fought as one, and they would negotiate as one. "You have 1 hour to withdraw all forces to a lunar orbit," Miller responded. "Then we'll talk." As the alien ships retreated, leaving Earth's atmosphere in a much less orderly fashion than they had entered it, cheers erupted in command centers worldwide. But Miller and Reed didn't celebrate yet. They knew this was just the beginning. "They'll be back," Reed said quietly. "They'll try to adapt to our tactics." Miller squared his shoulders. "And we'll be ready. Humanity has never been good at giving up, and we're even better at improvising. Get every scientist you can analyzing those captured ships. We're going to learn from them, adapt their technology, and improve it." The next few hours were crucial. As the Dominion's surviving ships limped to the moon, humanity began preparing for the next phase of the war. They had won the first battle, but the real fight was just beginning. News of the victory spread across the globe. People emerged from shelters to see the sky cleared of alien ships, replaced by the contrails of Earth's defenders. The message was clear: humanity would not go quietly into the night. In the Pentagon's command center, Miller received reports from around the world. No major cities had been destroyed. Casualties were minimal. Earth's coordinated defense had succeeded beyond their wildest hopes. "Not bad for a bunch of primitives," Dr. Reed said with a grin. Miller allowed himself a small smile. "No. Not bad at all. But now comes the hard part, making sure they never try this again." The sun set on a changed Earth. Humanity had faced its first interstellar war and emerged victorious. But more importantly, they had discovered something about themselves: when pushed to the brink, the human race could accomplish the impossible. As the captured alien ships were transported to secure facilities for study, Miller couldn't help but think that the Dominion had done humanity a favor. They had given Earth something it had never had before: true unity. Now they just had to make sure it lasted. The lunar surface glowed under Earth's light as the diplomatic shuttle approached the meeting point. Inside, General Miller and Dr. Reed prepared for humanity's first official negotiations with the Dominion. The captured alien ships had already revealed secrets that had advanced Earth's technology by decades. "Remember," Reed said, checking her tablet's data, "their society is built on strength. They only respect power, but they also hate looking weak." Miller nodded, straightening his uniform. "Then we'll give them a face-saving way out while making sure they understand crossing us again would be a fatal mistake." The meeting took place in a pressurized dome that Earth had hastily constructed on the lunar surface. The overseer waited inside, his tall gray form less impressive now that his ship lay damaged in lunar orbit. Two other alien officials flanked him, their postures tense. "You have violated every law of warfare," the overseer began as soon as Miller and Reed entered. "Using biological weapons, electronic warfare, and swarm tactics is forbidden by galactic conventions." Miller's laugh echoed in the dome. "Galactic conventions? You invaded a peaceful world without provocation. We're not part of your empire or your conventions. We defended ourselves with the tools at hand." Dr. Reed stepped forward, her tablet displaying data from the captured ships. "We've analyzed your technology. Impressive, but rigid. You've fallen into the trap of thinking bigger and more powerful is always better. You forgot that nature's deadliest creatures are often the smallest." The overseer's skin darkened with anger, but there was fear in his eyes. "The Dominion has conquered 1,000 worlds. You cannot hope to, we already have," Miller interrupted. "Your neural networks are compromised. Those bacteria we used? They're still multiplying. In your ship's hulls, sending us data. We know the Dominion's fleet is spread thin. We know about the rebellions on your outer worlds. And now we know how your technology works." Reed tapped her tablet, and holograms appeared showing the improvements Earth's scientists had already made to the Dominion's designs. "We didn't just copy your technology," she explained. "We improved it. Made it more efficient. More adaptable. Like us." The alien officials whispered among themselves in their harsh language. The overseer's confidence crumbled further as he realized these primitives had accomplished in days what his scientists hadn't in centuries. "What are your terms?" he finally asked. Miller laid out humanity's demands. "First, the Dominion will recognize Earth and the entire solar system as sovereign territory. Second, you'll provide us with star charts and data about other civilizations. We won't be caught unprepared again. Third, you'll establish trade relations with Earth on equal terms." "And if we refuse?" Reed smiled. "Those bacteria in your ships? With one signal, they'll start reproducing exponentially. Your entire fleet will be reduced to dust within days. And we've already launched probes carrying them toward your nearest colonies. The overseer's face showed an emotion the humans couldn't quite read. You would destroy our civilization? No, Miller said firmly. We're giving you the chance to help us build something better. The Dominion rules through fear and force. Look how well that worked against us. Imagine instead an alliance between our peoples. You have experience spanning galaxies. We have adaptability and innovation. Together, we could do amazing things. The offer surprised the alien officials. They had expected humiliation, demands for technology, perhaps even submission. Instead, these humans were offering partnership, albeit from a position of strength. There's something else you should know, Reed added. We've been broadcasting everything we learned about your empire's weaknesses to every world in range. If you try to attack us again, you won't just face Earth. You'll face every world that's tired of the Dominion's rule. The overseer was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice carried a new tone, respect. Never in our history has a species defeated us so thoroughly, then offered peace instead of domination. Perhaps we have something to learn from humanity after all. The negotiations continued for hours. On Earth, billions watched and waited. The captured alien ships were already yielding innovations in medicine, energy production, and space travel. Scientists worldwide collaborated on understanding and improving the technology, while military leaders prepared defenses against other possible threats from space. As the lunar day progressed, humanity's representatives hammered out an agreement that would change the course of human history. Earth would gain access to the stars. But on their own terms. They would meet other civilizations as equals, not conquests. One last thing, Miller said as they prepared to sign the treaty. Spread the word through your empire. Earth is off limits. We won't start fights, but we'll finish them. Anyone who thinks about invading this planet should remember what happened to your fleet. The overseer looked through the dome's window at Earth hanging in the black sky. They will remember. The day the Dominion learned that size and strength aren't everything. The day we learned that humans are different. Dr. Reed gathered her data tablets. We had to be different to survive on our world. Earth isn't easy. We've faced extinction many times and always found a way forward. Your invasion just gave us a new challenge to overcome. As they left the dome, Miller and Reed watched the Dominion officials board their shuttle. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented, victory against an interstellar empire, followed by a peace that would benefit both sides. Think they'll keep their word? Reed asked. Miller smiled. They know we can back up our threats. But more importantly, they know we can back up our promises. The Dominion has ruled through fear for so long, they've forgotten there are other ways. We're going to remind them. The lunar dust settled around their feet as they walked back to their shuttle. Above them, Earth shone like a jewel in space, no longer alone in the universe, and more than ready to take its place among the stars. 6 months after the failed invasion, Earth had changed more than anyone could have imagined. The skies over major cities now featured streams of anti-gravity vehicles, while construction crews used repurposed alien technology to build the first orbital elevators. But the biggest changes were happening far from Earth's surface. General Miller stood aboard the newly commissioned Starship Hope, Earth's first faster-than-light vessel. Built using a combination of Dominion technology and human innovation, it represented humanity's first step into the wider galaxy. Dr. Reed worked at a nearby console, reviewing data from their latest jump. The modifications we made to their drive system increased efficiency by 40%, she reported. The Dominion's engineers are still trying to figure out how we did it. Miller watched through the bridge window as they approached their destination, a space station at the edge of the solar system. It served as Earth's new trade hub, where ships from across the galaxy could dock and conduct business. The station's design reflected its builders, practical, adaptable, and full of surprises. Another trading fleet just arrived from the outer colonies, his communications officer reported. They're requesting permission to dock. They say they've heard humans are different kinds of traders. Different indeed. In just 6 months, Earth had established a reputation across known space. While the Dominion had always demanded resources and submission from its trading partners, humans offered fair deals and technological innovations. Planets that had feared trading with aliens now eagerly sought Earth's merchants. Grant them clearance, Miller ordered. And make sure they get the standard welcome package. The welcome package was Reed's idea, a demonstration of Earth's unique approach to technology. While other species focused on building bigger weapons or faster ships, humans showed how existing technology could be improved and adapted in unexpected ways. A hologram appeared showing their next mission objective. We've detected unusual energy readings from this system, Reed explained. The Dominion's records show they abandoned colonization attempts there centuries ago. Something about unsuitable conditions. Miller smiled. Unsuitable for them, maybe. What's the atmosphere like? Highly acidic. Regular storms. Gravity about 1.2 times Earth normal. Reed looked up from her data. Reminds me of Venus, actually. We could adapt the terraforming techniques we developed for Venus to make it habitable. This was humanity's new role in the galaxy, taking on the challenges others deemed impossible. The same creativity and determination that had defeated the Dominion now drove them to expand across the stars. The ship's sensors picked up a distress signal. A Dominion merchant vessel had suffered drive failure nearby. 6 months ago, they would have been enemies. Now, Miller didn't hesitate to order a rescue mission. As they approached the stricken ship, Reed noticed something interesting. Their drive isn't actually broken. They're just using it wrong. The Dominion never figured out you could modulate the field harmonics to prevent crystal degradation. The rescue turned into an impromptu teaching session. The Dominion merchants were initially suspicious of human help, but their attitude changed when they saw how a simple adjustment doubled their drive's efficiency. Another small victory in humanity's campaign to change how the galaxy worked. Back at the trading station, Miller met with representatives from various worlds. Many had been part of the Dominion's empire, but now they sought new alliances. They had seen how Earth handled the invasion and wanted to learn. Your species is strange, a delegate from a crystal-based civilization said. You could have demanded our submission after defeating the Dominion. Instead, you offer cooperation. Miller explained humanity's perspective. We've learned through our own history that empires built on fear eventually fall. But partnerships built on mutual respect and benefit? Those last. Dr. Reed added her own insights. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to look at problems differently. Where others see obstacles, we see opportunities. The station's observation deck offered a perfect view of Earth in the distance, a small blue marble that had changed the galaxy's balance of power. Ships of various designs arrived and departed, each carrying a piece of human innovation to distant stars. We've received another request, an aide reported. A waterworld civilization wants our help adapting their cities to withstand stronger storms. Their sun is entering an active phase. Reed immediately began pulling up relevant data. We developed some interesting metamaterials for underwater construction during the Pacific expansion. With some modifications. This was how Earth was building its new reputation, not through conquest or dominance, but by solving problems. Each solution shared, each innovation freely given, built stronger bonds than any fleet of warships could enforce. The Hope's next mission would take them beyond known space. Earth's scientists had developed new sensors based on principles the Dominion had never considered. They were finding things in the galaxy that everyone else had missed. "Sometimes I wonder," Reed said as they prepared for their next jump, "if the Dominion did us a favor by attacking. They forced us to innovate, to unite, to reach for the stars." Miller watched his crew at work, humans and aliens working side by side, each learning from the other. "Maybe. But I prefer to think we were always meant to be out here. We just needed the right push." A message from Earth appeared on the main screen. More breakthroughs in medical technology, using modified alien healing pods combined with human stem cell research. Another example of humanity's gift for taking existing ideas and making them better. As the Hope prepared to jump to its next destination, Miller reflected on how far they'd come. 6 months ago, Earth had faced extinction. Now they were helping reshape the galaxy, proving that strength wasn't just about superior firepower or advanced technology. Sometimes, the greatest power lay in seeing things differently and being willing to share what you'd learned. The stars stretched and twisted as the jump drive engaged. Somewhere out there, new challenges waited. But that was fine. Humanity had always been good at handling challenges. 1 year after the invasion, Earth hosted the first Galactic Cooperation Summit. The same New York skyline that had once been darkened by Dominion warships now glittered with lights from 1,000 alien vessels, all of them peaceful visitors. The summit's location was symbolic. Where humanity had faced its greatest threat, they now built their greatest hope. General Miller, recently promoted to head of Earth's Space Defense Force, stood at the summit's podium. Below him, representatives from over 300 alien civilizations gathered in the massive convention center. Dr. Reed sat in the front row, her tablet displaying real-time translations of the various alien languages. "A year ago," Miller began, "many of you knew Earth only as the planet that defeated the Dominion. Today, we're known for something far more important, innovation that helps everyone." He gestured to the holographic displays showing humanity's achievements over the past year. The terraforming project on Venus was ahead of schedule. The first human-designed faster-than-light ships were breaking all previous speed records. But most importantly, Earth's policy of sharing knowledge had created a new kind of galactic community. The overseer himself attended the summit, though he no longer held that title. The Dominion had transformed, inspired by Earth's example. "We ruled through force for 10,000 years, he addressed the crowd. Humanity showed us a better way in just 1 year. Dr. Reed presented the summit's main proposal, the Galactic Science Foundation. "Every species has unique insights," she explained. "By working together, sharing knowledge instead of hoarding it, we can solve problems that have plagued our civilizations for generations." The changes were already visible. Dominion ships now carried human-designed improvements that made them more efficient. Worlds that had been deemed uninhabitable were being settled using Earth's adaptive technologies. Ancient rivals were learning to cooperate, following the example Earth had set. But not everything was perfect. Miller received regular reports of tensions in the outer regions. Some former Dominion worlds were resistant to change, and there were always those who preferred the old ways of force and conquest. "That's why we maintain our defenses," Miller told the gathered representatives. Earth learned the hard way to be prepared. Peace through strength, but strength through innovation. The summit's attendees toured Earth's new facilities. The lunar base had expanded into a sprawling research center. The orbital shipyards produced vessels that combined the best of human and alien technology. But what impressed visitors most was Earth's education system. Now teaching students from across the galaxy how to think differently about problems. "Your species has such unusual methods," a crystalline being told Reed as they observed a classroom. "You encourage questioning everything, trying new approaches, even failing." Reed smiled. "That's how we learn. Every failure teaches us something new. The Dominion failed to conquer Earth, and look what they learned." The summit's final day brought an unexpected announcement. A probe from the Hope had discovered signs of a truly ancient civilization, one that had vanished millions of years ago. The gathered species quickly agreed to a joint exploration mission, something that would have been impossible before Earth showed them how to work together. Miller found Reed in her lab that evening, already planning modifications to their scanning equipment for the mission. "Think we're ready for something this big?" he asked. "A year ago, we weren't ready for an alien invasion," she replied. "We adapted. That's what humans do. Now we're helping others learn to adapt too." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message. Long-range sensors had detected something massive entering the galaxy's outer rim. Initial readings suggested it might be another invasion force, possibly from beyond known space. The summit's representatives were immediately notified. In the past, such news would have caused panic. Now, the response was different. Within hours, ships from 50 different species were preparing to investigate together. Earth's defense innovations were being freely shared, and strategic planning sessions included input from all species. "This is the real victory," Miller told Reed as they watched the joint fleet prepare for departure. "Not beating the Dominion, but changing how everyone thinks about problems and threats." The mysterious readings turned out to be a natural phenomenon, a cluster of protostars that would help them understand galaxy formation. But the response showed how much had changed. The galaxy had learned humanity's most important lesson: facing challenges was easier when you worked together. 1 year after staring extinction in the face, humanity had become something no one expected: teachers. Not through conquest or dominance, but by example. Every problem solved, every innovation shared, every partnership formed proved that humanity's greatest weapon had always been its mind. The summit concluded with the signing of the Earth Accords, a new framework for galactic cooperation. The principles were simple: share knowledge, respect differences, and face challenges together. It wasn't just a treaty, it was a new way of thinking. As the alien ships departed Earth's atmosphere, their lights creating a beautiful display against the evening sky, Miller and Reed stood at the summit's observation deck. "Did you ever imagine this?" Reed asked, watching ships that had once been enemies now departing as friends. "When they first appeared over New York?" Miller shook his head. "I was just hoping we'd survive. But humans have always been good at turning bad situations into opportunities." A group of young alien students passed by, heading to their transport back to Earth's new galactic university. They were learning not just human technology, but human ways of thinking, questioning, innovating, adapting. "The Dominion wanted to make us submit," Reed said. "Instead, we made the galaxy think. That's a better kind of power." The sun set on a changed Earth, but more importantly, on a changed galaxy. The species that had once been dismissed as primitives had shown everyone a new way forward. Not through force or fear, but through innovation and cooperation. Humanity had warned the invaders to leave. They hadn't listened, and they had indeed paid a price, but not the one anyone expected. Instead of destruction, they found transformation. Instead of defeat, they found a new beginning. As night fell over New York, the city's lights mingled with the stars above. Somewhere up there, human ships were exploring new frontiers, human innovations were solving ancient problems, and human ideas were changing the way an entire galaxy thought about itself. The invasion had tried to end humanity's story. Instead, it had started a whole new chapter, not just for Earth, but for every civilization that looked up at the stars and dared to dream of something better.